But yes, so my name is Haufiku and we're representing Elifila Premium Sports Agency. We're going to speak about the company. We're going to speak about myself a little bit, our athletes, our team, our services, benefits, and then I'll give you guys our contacts for later. But a little bit about us. We are Namibia's first and only sports agency. What we do is we represent athletes. We sign them, we represent them, we do a few contract negotiations for them. We try and get them professional contracts, endorsement deals, and sponsorship deals at the same time as well. We are the link between the corporate commercial world, and we try and envision to professionalize sports in Namibia. As you see, most of our athletes are represented by either coaches, are represented by parents, are represented by cousins, or whoever it is that's representing them. Whereas we've studied the industry and we are licensed and we're trying to professionalize it. Next slide, please.
And my name is Hishi for short. Hitjivirue is hard to put out for most people. So I work closely with our athletes. We have 12 currently contracted with us. Monica Gomez is Namibia's best netball player. I'm not saying that because she's with us.
But she is.
Peter was on the second string for the World Cup rugby Namibian team. So he's doing amazing things. Jocelyn Kamatuka is in Maritzburg United in South Africa right now. Next slide. And then these are our three boys that currently play for the Brave Warriors. These two on the sides, they're currently in Sao Tome and Principe right now on the field, hopefully. We're winning 2-0. Namibia is winning 2-0. Let's go picture it. Next, please. And these are our three local players. I'm sure you know the name Awilo or Willie Stefanis. He's also contracted to us. So these are players that have all represented Namibia, either currently or at the youth level, or at some point in the past. And we also have two basketball players. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is our junior Namibia soccer player, and these two players recently went to BAL, which is the NBA's African League, and they represented Namibia about a month ago.
In Botswana,
just short of a month in Botswana. So these are the athletes we have, and we also have a coach. This is the former Brave Gladiators coach who's currently in Botswana right now, Coach Woody Jacobs at Matebele FC, and he is on our books as well.
So this is our team. We have a very small team, but very effective team as that. Okay. We have a very small team, but a very effective team. We have myself, CEO and founder. We have Jason Agunya, who is our legal practitioner. And then we have Hishi, who's head of athlete development. Okay, our services, you can go ahead. Our services, as we spoke about, we have the athlete representation, we have endorsement deals, and then we also have the player wealth management side of it. Okay, the problem that we're currently facing in Namibia when it comes to the sporting industry, there are no sports agencies, as I mentioned earlier. Our African athletes are basically being represented by international agents, and a lot of them are being mishandled, mistreated. Some athletes will go to a country that they're unfamiliar with. They'll have to sleep in the locker rooms and things like that. These are all real stories that we have heard, and we want to put a stop to it on a professional level. There's obviously a lack of representatives. There's a lack of exposure for our athletes, especially the athletes who are not necessarily on the national team. As you've seen, we have over 12 athletes that are with us, and only 2 are currently playing in Morocco currently for the Brave Warriors. So the exposure for the ones who are local is basically non-existent as well. We have a lack of financial advice. How many people have heard of athletes become millionaires at the age of 18 and that are completely broke by the time that they're 30? So what we've done with that is we've now provided them with services that allow them to grow their assets as well as looking into the future and life after sports. We can just go through that as well.
So once again, what we're trying to do is just not have our superstars be accidental. We don't want an accidental Frankie Fredericks or Peter Shalulile or Christine Boma. We want to convey a belt of success with our athletes. There is, the next slide please. We've been lucky enough, we've been lucky enough to be invited to a platform called Transfer Room, which happens all around the world. I think they're currently There's one in Brazil, was the latest
Yes.
one. This is a platform where the decision makers of football sit. 90% of the platform is made up of decision makers from clubs, over 700 clubs on the platform, and then 10% are agents. Currently, there are no African agents, no African representatives on this platform, so we would be the first, which means Namibia and our athletes would get a little bit of a
Exposure.
the first one. That's very nice, thanks for the applause, but it does cost a pretty penny. So in order for us to be a part of the platform for a year and have or upload 10 of our athletes, it'll cost us
Only
some change, 240,000 Namibian dollars. Obviously, this is converted from the euros that they pounds, that they have for us. Another problem that we face is footage. So, in the fact that we are so far in Namibia, our league is not professional. Our FIFA ranking is so low. When we propose these athletes, they say, show me the skills, and you're just like, he's kind of far right now. So we have to get footage for these players, and it is a hassle. We have 12 of them right now. They all play different sport codes, and most of the time the footballers play at the same time. So we're trying to put together footage for them. And what we have done in terms of our estimate for footage is 5 different cameras, high quality cameras, plus the labor in order for us to be able to track all our athletes and hopefully the ones that we add over the year as well. And the next slide is the last one. Kind of tied to the footage is the player assessments. Now, a lot of these players that go out with the uncles or that dodgy agent that comes, you're playing with people's livelihood. We are here to give people employment. And usually when it comes to junior athletes, you're playing with people's children. So it's important to be licensed, it's important to be safe, and I think for us it's important to be Namibians. What we do is we sit with families and it becomes a family affair, not just player to agency kind of negotiation. And we currently have 6 players that need to go to Botswana as in January, like yesterday. So it's about going to be 5,000 Namibian dollars per player to travel, be accommodated, and then obviously go through their assessments. Hopefully they'll be able to sign their professional contracts in January. Fingers crossed. But that's where we are right now. And in terms of the...
Okay. In terms of projected income, currently what we've put in as an agency over the last couple of years is almost about 150. That comes from laptops, travel, licensing, registration of company, all of the above. But with regards to the projection for the year, mainly because our players are not necessarily, they're kind of like a diamond in the rough right now. So because they're not necessarily known, the amount of money that they can garner is not really that much. But what we can do is, there's normally with regards to market value, the average a player can sign for and get a signing bonus, a sign-on fee is about 50,000 Namibian dollars. We as an agency get 10% from that, and then with regards to the monthly salary, they will be getting round about 20,000 Namibian dollars. Currently, a lot of our athletes are only on 5,000. One player is on 6,000 Namibian dollars. So they're really not earning that much. And for them to go and play professionally for about 20,000 is really good, especially for that year, being in a professional setting, having footage, having statistics, and actually being able to now for us to sell them on to either European or Asian clubs. That'll be where it is that we make the bulk of our money. We expect a steady increase of 30% each year, mainly because the players that we currently have will get better and will actually garner a lot more in the market. Not only that, but we will also have a mainstream, streamline of other players coming in behind them, and we could potentially represent almost every single athlete here in Namibia. The other operating expenditure, currently our operating cost is very low. We only have to pay for office spaces, email domains, the normal bank charges, social media marketing, and all of that. But thank you so much for listening to us. We'll be available to any questions. Thank you.
First question, are you guys brothers?
No. No relation. But we're good friends.
For our last speakers, let's give them our effort. Feedback, questions, anybody on the floor. 1, 2, I'll take those first two. I will come around.
Good evening. My name is Miriam Haufiku, not related.
Maybe.
Congratulations on being a first.
Thank you.
I'm just curious, for an industry, which is a sports industry that's been here for since you can remember, I just wanted to find out, why is this the very first Namibian agency? What's been the challenge? And I'm curious to know how you're able to break out. And this is just asking to understand the sustainability of the business.
Okay.
Just 2 questions, huh?
Hi, hello. My name is Chris. I just want to know, how much do you guys need? Basically.
Sorry?
How much do you guys need? Like, how much
Need.
money are
Okay.
you here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess you got both.
I'll just come around. So let's just plug them in too so that they don't forget. Okay.
Okay, nice.
Why it's taken so long, Miriam? So recently FIFA has put in laws that change the agency game. You can't just be an uncle, or that uncle that got that knee injury that he lied about in '96. You have to have a FIFA agency license, and that has cut the agencies or the agents by I don't even know the percentage, but
There's only a quarter.
we know that in Namibia we are the only ones. In South Africa there are also only a few registered agents. So that's why the game has changed now. Before you didn't really need licensed agents, but now you do. And in terms of expansion, platforms like Transfer Room and just networking. I mean, Peter graduated at Real Madrid. That's where he got his sports degree. So your network. I mean, his classmates and friends study all across the world. So our aim is to not just represent Namibian athletes. In the future, it's to be able to represent the continent and Brazilian and English, and so the Estonian. The list goes on and on and on and on.
Let me just add to that. So a lot of, as Hishi has said, a lot of that has come through my personal network. So myself, I was born in Germany, I was raised in Belgium, I studied in Finland, I studied in Spain, I also studied in Scotland. So these are a lot of people that I know personally and that I've been in the same classroom with. And a lot of the questions that people always ask is, why did you come home? Why didn't you just stay there? Whereas for me, it was never a thing to go there and stay there. It was always to come back and plow back and try and get them these opportunities, because we all know one talented athlete that just didn't make it and that has turned to something else, and that is a nobody today. So that's something that we don't want to get into. And also a very important part of our agency is that we look at life after sports, while they're in sports, especially the 21-year-olds, the 22-year-olds, thinking about, okay, are you going to study? Are you going to invest? What type of business interests are you? What rooms can we put you in right now? Because while you're still relevant, it's easy to get in those rooms. Once you're retired and nobody cares about you anymore, it becomes very difficult. So that's what it is with us and how it is. Oh, the amount of money. Okay, the total, as we said, we had a slide over there. But the total is 370 Namibian dollars. That's $1,000, sorry. That's our main ask, mainly so that we can get on these platforms, so that we can get video footage, and so that we can actually get these guys some sort of visibility. Sorry? Oh, in exchange for 5% of the company. Why we say 5% is because our potential for growth is much bigger. We are not only looking into Namibia, but we're also looking into Africa as a whole so that we can represent them.
I just want to understand your expansion or strategy or your ability to scale. How does that look like? You mentioned obviously there's Namibia with a small population.
Yes.
Africa is bigger. How do you plan to scale and get into those markets and such? And also maybe take me through your athlete development strategy, because obviously if you want to maximize revenue from them, you need to make sure that they reach their full capability.
Okay.
My name is Martinez. I would just like to find out if you're actually making a full-time living from this, the both of you. Are you fully
Are we surviving off of it?
So you mentioned the transfer room was for like mainly a football platform, but from the pictures you showed, like I saw you onboarding, onboarding like players of different sports, and so is that to say transfer room is exclusively for football players? And for example, like John Chimuwe, who played in the BAL, like what strategies do you have to like ensure that they get similar exposure to those that would be put on like a transfer room kind of platform?
Okay, scalability. How do we plan on scaling? Right now, our scaling is to send players abroad. Once we do, that's when we'll actually be able to get a lot more money because they're actually paying players outside. With regards to how do we plan on scaling into Africa, currently we have agents all over Africa. We have agents in Ethiopia. My mom was a diplomat and she stayed in Ethiopia, so when I went on holidays, I met a few people there in Ethiopia who have also opportunities for other players to be there. We also have an agent in Nigeria who's also helping us scout local players, and then from there we can sign them and then put them into different spaces. So our strategy with regards to Namibian players is to take them to the neighboring markets, so to the Botswanas, to the South Africas, to the Zambias, and then our plan from those to go is to take the South African or the Zambian players into the European and into the Asian markets. That's kind of how we're working on it.
2 questions here. In terms of what we do, this is a lecturer, I am a radio presenter and a musician. So this is something that we definitely, I know it's very random and weird, but we're sports enthusiasts. So this is not how we survive in no way, shape or form.
Yes.
This is just this is just our baby. And in terms of the athletes that are not footballers, so licensing is different depending on different sport codes. So when you get into basketball, it's a lot more. The lines aren't as, I guess, blurry as football, where you just, here's your license, you can represent anybody. You need a FIBA license or a NBA license. Now that one is a pretty penny. So right now we're not trying to bite off more than we can chew. This entire presentation is basically what we are looking at for the next year. Transfer room is basically available to us for a year. These are players that we're looking to send out for the coming year. So in terms of the basketball players, for now, we just represent them in terms of the local league, because in as much as it's semi-pro, you can still be a professional player. And from the commercial side as well. So I am a Jägermeister brand ambassador. I also work with KFC and the NBA. So just that expertise on how to make yourself endorsable and how to monetize yourself as an athlete off the field or off the court, whatever the case may be. That's how we plan on developing the athletes beyond just what they do on the field. Thank you.
We've got an Estonian question. Yes, hello everyone. Sorry guys, I don't have a question, rather a comment. My name is Kate. I'm coming from snowy Estonia, and we have the biggest ratio of startups per capita in Europe. So first of all, thank you so much, Basecamp and NABAN, to putting the whole event together. I think you are doing an amazing job empowering Namibian founders. But rather a suggestion, not only for you guys, but for the rest of the pitchers as well. Please do have more ambition, because you have so much willpower in you, so much great energy flowing around. So please don't be stuck with only Namibian borders. Please do reach out. Please have bigger ambition in mind. You are mentioning that you are trying to target the whole African market. This is definitely the way to go. You have amazing possibility to actually implement on the ideas. I think your ask is too small, to be truly honest, and this is the case in every pitches I have seen today. And please don't be, sorry, NABAN now, please don't be only limiting your borders with Namibian investors, because there's so many investors abroad. There's so many investors willing to invest in African startups as well, taking an interest. To be truly honest, we don't know the scenery, but to have this kind of like bridges built between the continents, I think this is the way to go. So thank you so much for all of the pictures today. Thank you so much for NABAN and Basecamp to organizing.
Thank you. Uh-oh.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. Also, I'd just like to comment and say, I think what you guys are starting up is a very brilliant idea, considering that sports is growing so big in Africa and the world around, and it has become one of the ways that people can earn and sustain themselves. It's a very good question that Sarah asked here, that are you able to make a living out of what you're doing? And I appreciate your honesty to say it's not something that we are beating ourselves off from now, but it's something that has potential. And I think every athlete out there has so much potential. And we need to harness the potential and make revenue out of it, and then eventually have some sense of profitability out of it.
Yes.
What I wanted to ask was, like, what is the short to medium term plans for revenue as far as you getting athletes to be signed and eventually being paid? But then at the same time, I heard you mention that you are also planning on having a lot of these athletes indoors in the local market. I think that's a good starting point as well. While there's still not much happening in the local scene, the best would be for you guys to try and push those endorsement deals, because earlier on somebody did mention that products are moving in the stores, like you representing Jägermeister and KFC. That's where you can start generating income for the athletes while they're still developing. Another point that I wanted to make or suggest is that as you go about, yes, do look in the market in SADC and see how you can collaborate with other athletes. I paid attention last week that they were Litsi from Botswana, the one who just broke the youth record in the 200 meters or whatever. He traveled here to Namibia to meet with Fred King Fredericks. That's also something that you need to ride on and push on while you're here, and use it as a marketing strategy to speak about your bike.
Yeah.
That's just a comment.
It's true. Thank you.
All right. Evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you to the presenters. I don't really have a question. I'm a NABAN member, so that's why we come here to see opportunities. My point was just on your profiles. So it was nice hearing at the end, why I had to listen to you. What makes you, or the two of you, capable of, delivering this objective or the company you want to do. So it would be nice to start actually with that. Okay. So that people understand why are you uniquely positioned to achieve this goal.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
I think we're pressured with the 5 minutes. And thank you.